Arturs Neiksans gave up chess when he was a teenager, but then came back and became a grandmaster and multiple times national champion. Many of you know him as a coach of Levy, GothamChess.
So then I said, listen, Levy, we have to work probably if you want to be really serious, 5 times a week. And then he disappeared.
We've spoken a lot about how Arturs coaches Levy and why he believes in his quest for the GM title.
And I'm really surprised that there are people who are saying that he can't do it. Even some very notable players that said he can't do it because...
Arturs has also shared many insights about his own journey in chess. Not only successes, but also failures.
Every single weekend, I was losing 5 points here, 5 points there, 10 points here, 5 points there.
We've discussed the issue of talent in chess, how far an ordinary person can get, and Arturs' rules as a coach.
I think it's not very fair to say that everyone can become a 24 hungry. I do have my own rules. It's very interesting that some of them I have found in none of the books.
At the end, we've played an exciting Blitz game. Tactics.
I miscalculated something, did I?
Hey guys, I'm Greg Mustreader, and today the new guest of my podcast is Arturs Neiksans, the Latvian legend, grandmaster, coach, commentator, streamer. Many of you probably have heard of him as the coach of Levy Rozman, aka GothamChess. But he has many roles in the chess world, and we will discuss many exciting topics today. Hi, Arturs. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi, Greg. Absolutely. It's wonderful that you invited me here. So it's going to be fun.
Definitely. And we will speak about your journey as a chess professional, as a player, as a coach. But first of all, I've recently seen an announcement on your Twitter that you have some big news, that you have made an important decision for your career. And I was wondering, what will it be like? Is Arturs also going to have a road to Super GM series or something of that kind? Or will you coach Dean Lejeune to prepare for Gukesh? So please announce what is it?
Yeah, I mean, somebody already asked me a question. Am I a second to Ding or Gukesh? And I said, I can't be a second. I can only be a first. So it's a joke, of course. But mainly, it's a combination of many things. But I made a choice to more focus on content creation. And this is something I was heading towards for quite some time already. I never really thought I'm going to do it. And the big part of it is going to be my YouTube channel. And I'm right now running an experiment, basically. And since you're Greg, you're yourself in content creation, you know how hard it is, how tough it is to be consistent, how to create interesting content that everybody wants to follow. And yeah, it's definitely much harder than it was probably something like 3 up to 5 years ago. But I just wanted to give it a try. And at the moment, I'm running an experiment for 2 months. I'm making essentially daily videos. It's not going to be the only thing in the YouTube, but I want to give it a try and see how it works because I realized I enjoy this. I really enjoy reading positive comments from many just fans. They're saying, oh, thank you for doing this, covered this line, covered that line, covered this game or that variation. Yeah, I never really thought about it. So when I started to stream myself, which is maybe a slightly different topic about, when was this? 4 years ago. Yeah, I think I started to stream 4 years ago. I discovered that I absolutely enjoy engaging with a live audience, and YouTube was always meant to be as some sort of final project. Yeah, it's like the final stage because from the very beginning, I felt that it's going to end up with YouTube. And I just always thought, okay, I'm going to do it at some point. I just decided I'm going to do it now. So that's basically it. So YouTube is not everything, but it's a big part. So I hope it's going to work well.
And what's the goal? Do you have a KPI for these 2 months? How do you know it's going well? Do you have some benchmark? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea that I want to meet. And I think that after these 2 months, I'm going to look back a bit and see if I accomplished what I wanted. We'll see. It's a fair chance that I will be simply tired to do it, because I already, right now, when I'm doing these daily videos, I'm like, oh, why I'm doing this? But we'll see. We'll see. I'll look at the growth numbers. I'll look at the viewing numbers. And then eventually I will decide. But I decided this is a good moment to give it a try, and then of course I can always downgrade it to like a couple of times a week, etc. But I mean, still, I believe the YouTube is going to be something I'm going to develop. I have pretty good feeling I will definitely make it to at least 100,000 followers at some point. The question is when, really. So maybe better sooner than later.
Yeah, and definitely you say, what you say resonates with me, the fact that maybe like several years ago it would have been easier to gain subscribers. Well, I went through this with my Russian language channel before, so I know that had I started in English several years ago, and I now have like 250,000 subscribers in Russian, I probably would have maybe even more in English had I started back then. But then I realized it's better to start now than several years after, because then it will be even more, even harder. So it's a different perspective. It gives you, because it's still at the very inception, this chess content creation stuff. There are not.
I think it's also the golden age of content creation on YouTube. Yeah, and obviously those who started before, they are way ahead. But it doesn't mean that we can't produce interesting content. And by the way, you're also doing a wonderful thing. Chess podcasts are not so many of them, by the way. And I think this is an area where there's definitely room to grow. I don't think I will be doing any podcasts myself. I think that my strength lies in providing a Grandmaster expertise. So it's like a smaller niche. And I decided to slightly widen it and offer, since many people refer to me as the guy who can explain difficult things in a simple language, I thought maybe I can also reach the wider audience, explain these difficult things in a simple language, at the same time make it understandable for most people. And again, not dumb it down to like things, how to checkmate in two, what's legal's mate, etc. That's still not the direction I want to go. So I want to provide some Grandmaster advice and make it fun.
Yeah, you are very good at it. I recommend your channel, by the way. We'll link it in the description. So since you are coaching Levy in chess, does he coach you in content creation? Give you advice, stuff like that?
No, actually, no. But I am definitely learning from him. So he is essentially the pioneer in many things. And of course, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at some other content creators, and I'm thinking, can I do the same? Some all kinds of expressions. Like there was this one recent thumbnail for one of my last videos, and somebody wrote, "Oh, I see that's GothamChess's influence." Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so make it like an exciting thumbnail because people like to click on it. Some other tricks. Definitely, I'm learning from him. But no, I mean, he's not like coaching me and giving me advice. He just said, when I told him that I'm making more videos on YouTube, he said, "Yeah, good luck. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do."
Yeah, you will be in his shoes, and you will understand why he doesn't do the homework that you give to him, because it's tough. Well, but maybe now he started doing it more regularly. I don't know. I've just watched your previous interview where you said that he doesn't always find the time, and I totally relate. Yeah, it's hard. It's a full-time job, of course, and Levy is like the goat of chess content creation. So everybody probably in this niche is a little bit, to some extent, at least, influenced by him. It's like it's not a bad thing. Hey guys, I have an announcement. From now on, you can support me on Patreon and get cool bonuses in return. Let me tell you briefly about it. So my main goal currently is to become a full-time chess content creator and chess player. And currently, I'm not doing this full-time. I have other things which I do to help me foot the bills, to pay my video editor, to pay my thumbnail guy, to pay for sound editing, and many other things, and also to sustain myself and my family. So I will record a video in a couple of days and upload it about who I am and what I do outside of chess, and you are welcome to check it out. So I cannot concentrate currently full time on just chess content and chess improvement. And your support would be very appreciated and very helpful for me to make more content and make better content, to be more focused on this. So this is why I'm launching this Patreon, and you can get cool bonuses depending on the tier of support. So there are 4 tiers. The first one is supporter, just to say thank you and support me, $5 per month. Then there is the tier contributor. It is for people who not only want to support me, but also want to have their names in the video and podcast descriptions. Shout outs. Also, there is a tier sparring partner. In addition to what I mentioned above, you also get a chance to play with me. Not a chance, but a guarantee that you will play 1 game per month at least with me on stream, and I'll analyze it on my stream. And the last tier, Patron, is for people who want to invest significant amounts of money. And if you have the funds to do it, that would be much appreciated. And in exchange, I can offer some one-on-one training sessions, chess training, or marketing consultation, personal branding, whatever. Any areas of my expertise, I will be able to help you. So please check out the link in the description and support me. That would be much appreciated. And let's get back to the podcast now. But we'll speak about Levy later. I wanted to speak about your chess journey. What interested me really and what made me relate is the fact that you had a great and promising career in chess, or at least like tournament results in chess when you were younger, when you were a junior, and then you gave it up and went to university, to MBA, to pursue a career, and stopped chess. Well, I had a similar story. I was not as good as you were, but some similarities are present. So I wanted to ask you, do you think your like normal job, normal education, non-chess related, do you think it has helped you somehow? Or do you feel regret that you were not concentrating on chess all these years? Because it was a break of what, like almost 10 years, is it correct?
Slightly less. Yeah, I think it's like 8-9 years. But yeah, I had a longer break. I have absolutely no regrets because I am a firm believer everything happens for a reason. And we are doing the things at the moment that we are supposed to do right now. And that's why, for example, when I'm looking at this content creation, I could maybe regret, I didn't start to do this 3-4 years ago, but I was just not ready for it at that moment. And I feel right now I'm ready for it. I have a very good feeling. And maybe, Greg, I don't know how it's about you, but very often for me in life, I have these eureka moments. When I realize that's it. I have to do it right now. I can't explain it. It's like a signal coming from somewhere, like a very good feeling, gut instinct. I don't know. How do you describe it? I just feel I have to do this right now. And I had this feeling about the content creation. It just feels right. And I decided to do it. But I have no regrets about my previous career. I was working as a journalist. I was working in the field of public relations. Even at some point, I was working in the Ministry of Education and Science here in Latvia. In the communication division, I was communicating with journalists, writing press releases, etc. So it was a very interesting thing. And I still think that it leads you to the point where we are right now. And it's a very interesting thing that I sometimes compare this to this movie. Have you seen it, The Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
Yeah, where this Indian kid, and he participates in this TV show to win $1 million, and he has a life story. And all his life experiences, they teach him some valuable things, so he's able to provide an answer. And very often, I'm thinking, I have something very similar. Because I had experience in the public relations. It's helping me now. At some point, I was even involved in gaming industry. Is helping me now as well, because it was my very first steps as content creator. Also, I was writing a blog. I was writing actually several blogs, which maybe is not really that well known about. There was one blog about TV series. There was one blog about chess, at least two of them. That's I remember. Maybe they forgot some others. And again, these are like my very first steps as content creator. Try to write stuff, and I enjoyed it. It was absolutely not professional. It was, just something I enjoy. And that's why, I think that every single decision I've made before, it is like a logical step to the moment where I am right now.
Yeah, this sounds very convincing and very logical. I'm also a believer in such a concept. So I wanted to ask you, like, you now are trying to pursue chess content creation full time, as you said, but you do not stop, like, coaching or playing chess, or have you called Levy and said 2 months, no lessons, or how will it work, or will you juggle this all?
I have never stopped coaching, and about Levy, I suppose we're going to talk a bit separately because he's very special. But I think ultimately my final plan, how I would imagine my professional career, is that I am doing content creation full time, which is working on YouTube, working on, some other chess educational stuff like recording videos, etc. I definitely enjoy it, and combine it with commentary. Commentary definitely has been a big passion of mine, and I have discovered myself, this is what I want to do. That was like, again, one of those eureka moments. I tried it, I enjoyed it, and I want to do it. But also the coaching still remains a big part. And naturally, coaching of Levy is a huge part of my... Is this a part of content creation? I suppose. I don't really know. So it's like at the same time content creation, and from the other part, it's like still proving me as a coach. So couple of my previous students, they have reached the Grandmaster title. They're now my team members in the Latvian national team. Tom Kantans and Nikita Meshkov. I think that also getting Levy to GM title essentially is going to be one of the highlights of my career, if not the biggest highlight.
Mm-hmm. And what about you as a player? So I know you've played 7, I think, chess Olympiads, and the recent one. You sometimes play European chess leagues. Are you going to continue doing that, or would it be impossible to continue with all this lifestyle?
I have basically already given up on achieving more as a player. So I was very curious. How far I'm going to get. And since I had this long break of this 9 years or so I was an IM at age 18, and basically I resumed playing competitive chess at age 27. So there's a 9-year gap. And I started to work on chess very seriously. I got to 2630 or so. So even my career high live rating was almost 2640. And I had a goal at the time. I want to reach top 100. And I realized I'm missing something. I can't get there. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was not enough input work on some details. Maybe I was not working hard enough on myself, but I kind of gave up on the idea. And I realized it basically doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Am I 2650? Am I 2550? It just doesn't matter. So unless you are a top level player, you're playing 2750, that's a major difference. From 2650, 2550, I don't think it doesn't really matter. And I stopped really caring about ratings so much. So I achieved what I could. And now instead I'm like, okay, so I don't want to play at that level anymore. I definitely enjoy playing chess. I do like playing chess. I enjoy playing in these leagues, but now more than ever, I'm doing this mainly just to socialize. And if I'm playing in a couple of leagues, then I'm playing in leagues where I have the best possible socializing possibilities with my teammates where I have good food, etc. So I'm basically becoming like a very good chess tourist. I enjoy this time. So for me, like going for a weekend, let's say in Germany or Sweden or in France, it's like escape from my daily routine. I meet with my friends, I play some good games, then I come back, I make some content. That's my current routine.
Yeah, pros of living in Europe. Everything is quite close, and and you can go to different countries to play for vibes. Sounds great. What interests me is that after you stopped, you really made a big, significant improvement. So as you already said, your peak ratings reached 2640-ish, and this is close to top 100 in the world, actually very, very close. I don't know at that time how close it was, but now I think 2650 is already top 100 in the world, if I'm not mistaken. So at least around that mark. So you've made this significant improvement when you were close to 30. So close to the age Levy is now, by the way. So many people say, I've heard online, of course, there are experts on everything, many of whom say that it's impossible at all to become a grandmaster after like 15 years old these days. But still, many people say that it's harder to improve when you are like not in your early 20s or not a teenager anymore. Have you felt that it was hard? Was it hard for you when you were like 27, 28 to strive for the GM title? Or do you think it's nonsense that people say?
It's definitely harder, but I never felt like I couldn't do it. But maybe I had a better start because when I stopped playing competitive chess at age 18, whichever my age was at the time, I was already about 2450. Yeah, so it's not like I had to make a major leap from 2320 to 25 Congress. So I was 2450. I was keeping the levels. When I resumed my professional road, I was 2470. And I think for me, the most important psychological hurdle was the first GM norm. And I think that many players can relate to this. When you have not yet your first GM norm, you do not know, are you GM material or not? It's just, you do not know because you have to perform at 2600. And for me, at least, it was like, if I'm going to get my GM norm, I know I can do it. And I achieved my first GM norm and I instantly realized it's only a matter of time. That's it. So after that, it was just very smooth. I think I got my all GM norms in about 2 years. I got the GM title. I just knew I will become the Grandmaster. And then it was no stress after that. I got the GM title and the rating immediately went up. Yep, because again, I had no stress. I knew I'm going to get the title. I could get the so-called title player conditions in many open tournaments, which means most of the time I don't have to pay for my living expenses. Sometimes there's some extra accommodation, like a travel included. So this meant that I have basically the possibilities to play anywhere, and my rating gradually increased. Yeah, so I got my GM title. And the rating was about 2520, so it increased to something like 100 points in the coming years or so. It was very, very rapid rise, and yeah, then I think I essentially hit the ceiling. Yeah, it's actually, Greg, it's very funny because when you hit the ceiling, you don't know it's a ceiling. And I have talked with some other chess professionals, and we're like, yeah, when I was 2640 or 2630, to be honest, I never was 2640, but it was very close. I thought it's not enough. I should get more. I mean, this is not enough. I should get more. I deserve more. And then the rating drops. You start to become very nostalgic. Oh, it was very good when you were 2630. That's how it works.
How do you know it's a ceiling? Well, you can consistently hit the wall while trying to play tournaments and gain rating. Maybe it's not a ceiling. Maybe I'm not speaking about you, but about like a player in general. Maybe just lack of confidence for a player, or maybe he has to adjust some things in their trainings. How do you know? Is it really a ceiling or some other problem?
I don't think it's possible to know it at the moment. It's just the rating is not increasing anymore. So again, maybe I was not working hard enough, but I very clearly remember this moment because when I reached 2637, I think this was my highest live rating ever. 2631 was fixed rating, but 2637, I just defeated Pavel Elyanov in Bundesliga with a black collar. He was 2750 at the time, and I thought, oh, I'm so great, I can play chess, I'll be top 100, etc. And then I lost this very long game against Ernesto in Kiev the next day with the white collar. It was a grueling long game. And after that, it was like a downhill because every single weekend I was playing, and I was playing many weekends. Every single weekend, I was losing like 5 points here, 5 points there, 10 points here, 5 points there. And I just look at my rating deteriorate like 2630, 2620, 2610. Now it's 26. And I'm dropping below 26. And I think, oh my goodness, I've dropped below 26. I mean, this is a nightmare. Okay, now it cannot get worse. 2590, 2580, 2570. I was like, what is happening? And I talked with some very good GMs about the topic, and quite many of them could relate to this because this is like the free fall. When it starts, you can't stop it. You try to change everything, you can't stop. And there was one player, I think he was Bartosz Stoczko, my teammate in Sweden. Now, late in past years, he doesn't play for the team, but I think he's still a member of the team. And we talked about this, and he said, yeah, I also lost like 80 points. At some point I was like 2650, and now he was 2570. And he said, the rating is going to come back at some point. I was like, yeah, really? Yeah, it's going to come. Yeah, it came back for me. And it did for me. Yeah, so I had this major slump on the rating loss. I had like 2550. Lost about 90 points or so, and I thought, I don't know how to play chess anymore. And I got back to 26. Now I lost again, but now I don't care.
Now what makes it worse is the deflation, but we'll probably talk about it as well later. I wanted to expand on this topic a little bit, the ceiling. Do you think it's the talent? Or what determines a person's ceiling? Because I've been interested in this topic for quite a while, and I've heard various people, including world chess champions, say completely opposite things about this. So I think Lasker said that he can teach anyone, any guy on the street, to be like a master within, I don't remember, 2 years or something. He said like not too long a period of time. Maybe it was just like bragging, but I don't know. I think Kremnik in Russian said in an interview to Levitov once, or was it? I don't remember. But he said that anyone can reach 2400 or something like this if they train. And some other people say, well, anyone can reach 2000 and the rest is like talent. So what's your opinion? You are an experienced coach. You've coached many people, talented. Maybe some of them were more talented, others less. So what's your take on this?
I suppose if you have a good head start, yeah, you can definitely make it 24. But if you are an adult improver, I think it's not very fair to say that everyone can become a 2400. Yeah, so let's say you decide to play chess at age 25. Yeah, good luck. So I think it's simple physiology. The kids absorb information faster. So if you want to learn something, and if you were a kid and you spent quite a bit of time going to chess classes, you definitely have a better chance. You definitely have a head start compared to the adult improvers. But I think there definitely needs to be some talent. But I really like, I think it was Garry Kasparov who said that the greatest talent is the ability to work hard.
Yeah.
And for some players, this comes more naturally. So definitely there's a talent, but I think we have already reached the moment where with just a talent, you cannot achieve anything. I mean, those times are long gone. So historically, there's a popular belief. I don't really know if this is true. Maybe it's a myth that Capablanca was an incredibly talented player and he was getting his successes because of his talent. He was not working very hard. And Alexander Alekhine was the hard-working guy. He was not really that talented, but he was able to compensate it with hard work. Is this really the case? I'm not really sure. Maybe it was, but I think that the ability to work hard is the biggest talent, essentially. And not so many players can motivate themselves to work very hard. To like, there's this very famous, I think it was Parham Oxadlu. I might be misremembering things, so I apologize if I'm misremembering. So Parham once said in an interview that he's working on just like 14 hours a day, which I think is just insane. I mean, 14 hours a day. And then, did he get married or something? Maybe again, I'm remembering wrong. And then he said, but now I'm working only 10 hours a day. So, okay, yeah, 10 hours a day. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but for some reason, this excerpt, you can perhaps verify after the podcast if I'm remembering correctly. For some reason, this sticks in my memory.
For example, something like 15 hours or
Wow.
maybe 20 hours I was working.
20 hours a day?
Yes. Out every day. I'm doing training like every day, at least like 7 hours to 10 hours.
But again, it just shows that in order to be very, very successful, training is like a full-time job. Yeah, so you're doing like 8-10 hours a day, working very seriously, and even then maybe it's not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this makes for me personally, this makes it harder because now I'm on my quest to the FM title, and I cannot work 14 hours per day. Unfortunately, I don't even work 1 hour every day, but sometimes I do, like a couple of hours. But some days I just don't have the time. And you said that for adult improvers, it's more difficult, but there are adult improvers like me, for example, who had some results as a junior, who gave up chess at 14, being a candidate master, and then returned after like a 15-year break. So this makes it easier for me, the fact that I have like this background, right? So
I'm not
I have
sure
more
if you then
chances.
qualify as an adult improver then, because you did play as a kid. And you got to the candidate master, so you have a major head start. So compared to somebody who started to play chess at like 25, so you start to play as a kid, you go to the candidate master, now you want to resume the road to the FM title. I think it's perfectly doable, yeah, and I have no doubt you're going to do it if you're going to devote yourself enough time. But again, if somebody starts to play it only to play chess at age 25 and he wants to now get a FM title, it's so much harder. Yeah, because I think it's just pure physiological thing. Our mind is full with so many things. So we get older, we are not getting better. Our mind is filled with so many useless things, like it's very crowded there. And kids, they just simply absorb information a bit faster. Like my daughter, yeah, she learned already a foreign language at age 6. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And for me,
Wow.
it would just probably take forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kids, they're just amazing when it comes to absorbing information.
Well, you are modest because you speak at least 2 foreign languages, as I know, English and Russian, right? So, but still, yeah, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids.
I learned it as a kid. So I learned Russian language because I was born in, I'm still living in Latvia, obviously, but Russian language is the unofficial second language. It doesn't have the official state language status here in Latvia, but many people, they do speak in Latvia, in Russian, and we have many Russians here. So I naturally learned it because I had to communicate with a lot of kids in the small village where I was staying, and there was many Russians. And then eventually, of course, in the school, I picked up the English. But I think the English came only starting from grade 5 or so, maybe even later, maybe even grade 9. I don't remember. It was pretty late. But now kids, they're learning the English language starting from the first grade. Yeah, and I think it's totally the right choice.
Yeah, agreed. So the problem is neuroplasticity or lack thereof for adults. But I wonder, maybe someday scientists will launch an experiment where they take 25-year-olds who haven't even learned the rules of chess and give them like a full-time task of studying chess, and how far can they get within like 5 years. You wouldn't bet on them making a GM title, or perhaps some of them would.
Or maybe neuroimplants, yeah? Maybe it's going to be a thing like in 10 and 15 years, you just implant this thing and you can play at the GM level immediately. Then we can essentially close the office. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen then. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a total circus.
Yeah, interesting. So coming back to the story of your cooperation with Levy, he doesn't have the 14 hours per day. He is a full-time content creator. He's putting out immense numbers of pieces of content across various platforms, long form, short form, streams. He also has this several business projects of his, I admire his work ethic. Must be like an extremely hardworking guy. But still, there's only 24 hours per day. So how many days can he spare training with you? How do you help him get the most of these hours? Because it's still not 14 per day.
Right. So we started to cooperate in May. I think so. It was April, May. It was, I think, between April and May. I wrote to him just after he released his very first episode, wrote to the GM. And I still have some open channels with chess.com members and streamers, etc. So I used them, and I was able to get in touch with him. I was pretty surprised he answered. I thought he's going to ignore me, and this is how we started. So he was impressed. And after the first 2 lessons, the idea was that we are going to make it like an example. He said, I would like to do some lessons with you. I would like to do some lessons with other grandmasters, with other coaches, see how it goes, pick the best. But apparently I was able to leave a very good impression with these first episodes. And later he would say, I would just, without no sugarcoating, immediately say what is wrong with his play and immediately start to suggest on working on them. No sweet talk, just say what needs to be done. And he appreciated it. So we worked a couple of times, and then I said, listen, Levy, we have to work probably, if you want to be really serious, 5 times a week. I thought this is nuts, but I really, really wanted that he works very seriously. And this 5 times a week was coming from my own experience working with Thompson Nikita in Riga Chess School, where I was the head coach for many years. And sometimes they were coming basically every day. But of course, I understand he can't do it. I mean, it's easy to say you make the sacrifice, you give up part of your content creation, then you just focus on working on chess. And then he disappeared for 5 days. I thought, that's it, he's gone. Yeah, so he already has found somebody else. He came back. We agreed to do 2 or 3 times a week, which I think is huge. And we worked pretty seriously for a couple of months. So this was May, June. And then started the summer. And it was quite difficult for us to plan things so that we are able to have the same free time available so that we can do the coaching, because he was committed to some tournaments. He played in Madrid, he was playing in Spilimbergo. I was playing in the World Chess Olympiad. I was doing the commentary for the Bill Chess Festival. So there was always something. Yeah, so we cannot always manage everything, but still we're scheduling some lessons in between to always stay in touch, etc. And then came this unfortunate tournament in the New York City, which was incredibly painful for Levy, because I felt it was not deserved. In order to learn something, because we can't really appreciate the victory if we have not tasted the loss. Yeah, and maybe this was a very important lesson. Maybe it teaches something.
Mm-hmm. It's good to hear, and I hope Levy gained a confidence boost after his victory over Pia Kremling. I followed this match, and it was a fascinating one. Congrats to you. You probably take some credit. So how optimistic do you feel currently about Levy's path? Because I feel it's, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel today it's even harder to make a GM title because of the rating deflation, because you have to perform for the GM norm at the level of 2600, and also you have to reach the rating of 2500 plus 3 GM norms to get the title. And currently there are many underrated juniors whom I, for example, play in Asia, and I feel like they're crazily good guys from China or India or Kazakhstan, where I live. very many talents who play like 95% accuracy while being under 2000, sometimes even like 1700, because they just don't play enough events to gain rating. So I feel it's even harder now to make this title. Would you agree? And what is your like realistic estimation for Levy, like the timeline? How long will it take?
Yeah, definitely the competition has increased immensely. But answering your question, how would I estimate his chances to get the GM title? I just know. I just know he's going to get it, because it's inevitable. It's simply inevitable, because there's a couple of factors. How do I know this? And I'm really surprised that there are people who are saying that he can't do it. Even some very notable players that said he can't do it, it's impossible, etc. Very surprised by this, because there's essentially three main factors. So the factor number one, you need to have some talent. Again, we go back to the discussion about the talent. I mean, he has the talent, right? So he got the IM title pretty early. So he had the early start. So he was IM at age, I really don't remember, 21 or 22. So it's one step before the GM title. He has it, yeah. So he, at some point, again, I would have to go back to this specific moment. Somebody mentioned this, that there was at certain age, he was number 2 in USA between the most talented kids after Daniel Narodetsky.
Yeah.
So he's not just a typical IM, he was a talented kid. So he definitely can make it. The second thing is the means to play in tournaments, to get the experience and get the rating and the norms. He has the means, right? So he's the most successful chess YouTuber, runs very successful business. He has a lot of side projects. So this is clearly not a problem. So he can afford to play in any tournament in the world or any match as he wants. And the third one is the motivation. He has it. Yeah, and I think that also for him, this is incredibly important, because he has achieved basically everything in the content creation. He's the most famous content creator compared to the other guys. And achieving the Grandmaster title, it must be some sort of a personal motivation that he wants to achieve, right? So he has it. He's very serious about it. And he has said it himself very publicly that when he did the very first attempt at the Grandmaster title, he was like, not really, his not entire heart was in it, but right now he is. And that's why I'm just saying I'm not really a prophet. For me, it's super obvious that he's going to get it. He's going to get the GM title. The question is when. And now lately he is showing a lot of maturity compared to how he was playing before against the Grandmasters, and definitely the match against Pierre Crumlin, it did increase his confidence. And I think that he simply needs to get used to the idea that he's beating Grandmasters on a regular basis. So it's not like a special event. It's not like I beat a Grandmaster, hooray, I'm great. Yeah, so you have to get used to this. In order to become a Grandmaster, beating some other Grandmasters and world-class players is going to become your routine. So beating Pia more than once, this was really raising his confidence. Also in Spilimbergo, his last open tournament, he defeated David Alberto, just crushing fashion.
Yeah, great game.
Fashion. And he needs games like this, because when he beats them over and over and over again, it raises the confidence that he can do it. So my estimation, how quickly he can do it, it's a really wild guess. I would say that he definitely can get all the norms like within 2-3 years, maybe 3 years. The question is the rating. The rating is the hardest part. But I think as soon as he's going to start to play at this level, it's going to simply come. Yeah, so I think we are having a wonderful time ahead of us. And, one of the tweets that I posted, I felt it's a very symbolical thing, because I think it was Mr. Dodgy who posted this very nice tweet about Jason Momoa trying to sneak attack Henry Cavill. It's a very famous meme. Yeah, he posted like this. There's a Pia approaching, and Henry Cavill is Levy, with the idea that the Grandmasters are sneak attacking him. And I felt it's very symbolical, because I thought that we Grandmasters, we want to like I'm talking from the grandmaster perspective, we want to give Levy a little scare, but we are not going to give it easy for him. But we want to see him become a grandmaster, because I think it's also for chess professionals, this is very, very important that he succeeds, that he is one of us. So we want to give him a little scare. We want to make him to play his A game and then essentially welcome him among our ranks. And I think this is how many grandmasters they're treating, like, especially like David. I can't really speak for him, but I think this is like a common feeling, or any other grandmaster who faces Levy. For them, it's like a very principled thing. I'm going to give you the best fight, but if you beat me, it's okay. I think you're a worthy addition to the grandmaster ranks.
Yeah, it's great that you, as a coach, believe in your student. I've always said that I also believe in Levy, because he has shown that he can beat even top players in the world, at least online.
Let's go. Who did I beat? 3178.
And why that doesn't mean that he's got immense talent. I don't know why people don't believe it. Like, it's obvious to me. And yeah, it would be very, very good for the chess world, I think, because if this mission of his continues, he will continue making content. This will gain more eyeballs watching this like reality show. I think it's a win-win for everyone. And also, I think he has psychological advantage. I think at some point, grandmasters playing him are worried that he will beat them and make a recap how he beat this player.
Or maybe they're worried that there's so many viewers watching them live. Yeah, especially the younger generation. Like I noticed this when I was doing a couple of commentaries on Levy's channels, is that especially the younger players, they were like always a bit nervous because they feel somebody's watching them. Essentially, there's like 30,000 people watching every single move you make. It's not easy to handle this kind of stress. So Levy actually has indeed a psychological advantage.
Speaking about you as a coach, I read, I think, on your Lichess page that you correct me if I'm wrong, that you consider yourself to be your main strength to be positional play. Would it be correct?
That is correct, which is maybe a bit strange for players who treat that every single chess player coming from Latvia is automatically part of Latvian School of Chess. So in Latvian School of Chess,
Shirov,
Shirov and Shabalov and Vitolinch and many crazy attacking players. But I think this goes down to the early steps that I made in chess, and I was taught to play positional chess. I was afraid to sacrifice, and this essentially formed my playing style. Although I have evolved, obviously, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy playing sharp chess. Sometimes I overdo it, but still I believe my biggest strength is pure positional chess, maneuvering, these quiet maneuvers. And this is also the thing that I try to somehow transfer to Levy, because I think he's missing this. His opening prep is like 2600, but these small nuances, maneuverings, and feeling the change of the dynamics, this is what I'm trying to give.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, because I've heard from some people, even strong chess players, grandmasters, that it's best to have a coach who is similar to you in playing styles. And it seems like Levy is a bit different to you in his style. And I wanted to ask, like, do you agree with this philosophy, or like, what about your other students? Are they mostly positional players or tactical players, or or it doesn't matter? You can help them with their weaknesses if they are not good at positional chess.
I don't know if I really have to be with the same playing style as my student. I think that, by the way, right now I have become very versatile. So I am a positional player, but like I already said, I do enjoy to play dynamically, and I felt that Levy is a very dynamic player from the very beginning. He likes to go for sharper fight, but he is missing also these finer positional things, and this is where I feel I can contribute.
So you have students with who play in different styles. I wanted to get your confirmation that it's all right, that your coach is like not not the same as you in his approach to chess.
No. I mean, I do not think that we are really that different. I think that Levy's approach mainly is that he's perhaps in moments he's looking for more dynamics, where I would be looking for a pragmatic approach. I think this maybe would be the subtle difference, but essentially I don't think it's like a huge difference. Like I'm pure positional player, he's pure attacking player. So what can a pure positional player teach the pure attacking player? No, I don't think it's like that. And nowadays, these styles, they no longer are pure, because essentially when you look at all the top players in the world, you need to be a fierce attacker and you need to be a great positional player at the same time. Like, for example, look at Magnus Carlsen, how he was playing about 10 years ago. He was a pure positional player. He was always a pure positional player, like much better than I am, of course. Yeah. So, and then I think at some point he simply was bored. With his playing style, tried to grind it out. He started to take more risks because, from my perspective, he felt he can afford to make those risks and also evolve as a player. And this is also something I can relate to. Yeah, you always want to grow as a player. You want to try different playing styles. So ultimately, you become like close to the perfect understanding of chess.
Yeah, of course, at the top level, you have to be versatile. I think the audience needs, and I need as well, some chess improvement advice from you. You being a very skilled, famous coach, probably have a lot of hot takes on chess improvement. Of course, you have many pieces of advice that are general and they can be found in most good books on chess improvement. But probably you've over the years accumulated some controversial maybe statements for some non-obvious. So I would like you to share some of them in relation to chess improvement at various levels. Maybe you have different pieces of advice for different levels, then you can divide them by levels.
Controversial statements, I'm not really sure if I have any controversial, but I do have my own rules sometimes. I have a knack for these weird rules that I formulated myself, and it's very interesting that some of them I have found in none of the books. Maybe they are, but I haven't really noticed that. And in order to explain things clearly to my students, I use my own terminology. Like, for example, the most recent thing I've been doing, which is not controversial, it's just weird. And then sometimes I'm doing weird stuff, that I explain to students what is important in chess. And for some reason, I don't know, I started to use the so-called Maslow's pyramid, the hierarchy of needs, like what is at the very top and what is at the very bottom, the pyramid, yeah? So at the very top of the pyramid, I'm saying that it's the initiative, it's the space advantage, it's the center. At the very bottom, it's everything pawns related. Yeah, isolated pawns, weak pawns, double pawns, etc. And nowadays, nobody really cares about the pawns. Okay, obviously, it doesn't really have to do anything with this Maslow's pyramid, but it's like comparison. Maybe it's going to be Neiksans' pyramid. I don't know. We'll see. Right? But I have this knack for these weird comparisons. Like also, when I was coaching Levy, quite a popular saying was that I told him, no funny business when having a great position. Everybody, for some reason, liked it. But I have more like that. Yeah, but I wouldn't really say they're controversial. It's just my take on how chess should be played.
The pyramid thing is interesting. Can you walk us through the whole pyramid? So at the very top, you said space advantage.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about the layers, what is at the middle, etc. But it was like just to show to explain the concept of what is important and what is not important. So at the very top is definitely initiative. That's what dominates chess. And if you learn to play chess in the right way, that is played at the highest level, that the pawns don't decide the fate of the game, it's the initiative, it's the piece activity, then you're definitely on the right track. But if you have issues by giving up the pawn or the exchange, so for example, solve opening problems, then essentially you are using what's at the very bottom of this pyramid, which is not the most important thing. Like I already said, it's not the most accurate comparison, but that's what I'm using. That's what my students appreciate.
Yeah, thanks for the insight. So to top it off, as a tradition of our podcast, we have a time odds Blitz game against my guests. If usually grandmasters give me 1 minute versus 5 if it's all right with you, then
Yeah.
we can do it.
Right. Where do we
Okay.
do it?
So this is the part of the also of coaching for me this time. So I gave you 15 seconds by accident. So you can wait if you want. But okay,
Yeah,
let's
I'll
go.
wait. All right. I'll wait.
French defense. Okay.
French defense. Yeah. All right. What should I do? I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ah. Yeah, there's such a move.
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, you will remember at least something. I remember nothing here. No, but I'm pretty sure I can play it like some Philidor. Oh,
Maybe I did something stupid.
I don't know.
Okay.
It could be playable.
Hmm.
I have a feeling like I could have played something better, but okay, obviously no time.
Oops. Okay. Mhm.
Oh, I
Tactics.
miscalculated something, did I? That's nice. Yeah, maybe I miscalculated.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, not so simple.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for this.
Oh, forgot about the pawn. How did you get so long time?
I don't remember. Oh.
Okay.
Okay, I flagged.
That was pretty funny.
It was me who flagged.
How do you flag?
But I got too carried away with the position. I had an advantage, right?
You definitely get an advantage. If I would go back just a second, I definitely missed this knight e4. I didn't think it's possible. And I think I made the correct choice to play knight f5 to get to 2 bishops after knight f5. And I don't know, knight e6 feels pretty natural. I played rook c1. I'm pretty sure here I have some compensation. So you have an extra pawn, but your dark squares is slightly better, but not by great margin, I think.
Yeah, after knight b5 already it's zeros according to the engine. Bishop d5 after rook c1 was a little bit better for black, but still like you have compensation.
Yeah, that's what it felt. Yeah, but then I flagged. Yeah,
but then it was just crazy bullets time scramble.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe the polite way was to go for the obstacle bishops and make a draw, but the competitive side of me kicked in.
Yeah, obviously. So thanks for the lesson, coach.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to follow Artur's journey to become a full-time content creator. Subscribe to his YouTube and Twitch and other links that will be in the video description. And looking forward to your comments, whether you like this episode or not, and whom you'd like me to invite next. Artur, good luck with your quest. And thanks again.
Thank you, Greg. Take care.